Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
And welcome to our Family Memorial Fest, the Word and Song Family Memorial Fest. And our celebration is taking place basically because we want to pay tribute to the ancestors. We want to pay tribute not only to those of the past in terms of a historical reference, but we want to pay tribute to those who have been a part of our lives and who have departed this life and gone on to a better existence. Specifically, we want to pay homage and honor not only to the soldiers who have paid the ultimate sacrifice for our country, but we also want to honor those who weren't wearing battle fatigues. We want to pay homage and honor to those who weren't even of the male gender or therefore weren't regarded as being particularly heroic. But nevertheless, we want to pay homage to the fact that many women in particular, the daughters of Africa in specific, were nonetheless great freedom fighters. And we want to take the time to honor their sacrifice this day. We don't want to diminish the contribution, and we want to be sensitive to our veterans. As a matter of fact, my father's sitting here in the front row, and my father's 88 years old, and I think he's probably the oldest relative living, and certainly if not living, he's the oldest relative here at this present time, at 88 years of age. And my father is a veteran of World War II, Lawrence Hamilton Sr. Okay? So we want to recognize their contribution and their effort to promoting freedom in this great nation of ours. But we want to specifically and especially recognize those daughters of Africa, because those are people that we have not often recognized as being heroic and being freedom fighters. But I'm here to tell you that there were African mothers who were struggling to promote the freedom of their children being taken from the jungles of Africa and fighting against their enslavement. There were African mothers and women fighting to have their dignity remain intact as they journeyed to the shores of America during the Middle Passage. There were black women, slaves, who were fighting for their freedom, and those of their children, whom they were even willing to make the ultimate sacrifice so that they wouldn't have to endure a lifetime of enslavement. There were African women who were fighting, freedom fighters for dignity during the period of Jim Crow. And there were finally African women, black women of color, who were freedom fighters during the period of the Civil Rights era, too numerous to make mention of at this point. But we want to take time to honor at least one woman who was especially near and dear to me and who provided the basis for my gaining insight and understanding the relevance and importance of family history. And that is my grandmother, Esther Hannon Hamilton. That came about largely as a result of the 30-year effort or anniversary that we just recently observed in connection with the tribute to Alex Haley and his miniseries Roots. When Alex Haley in 1975 came to Wright State University, by some great reason, I don't know, but it was, as Haley would have described, a meant-to-be kind of experience. I was present. And I was so moved by his presentation and the stories that he related about his grandmother, pumping him full of all of those old tales. And knowing that I had a grandmother who shared all kinds of stories with me, it just made a desire on my part to come back and sit down and develop an oral history tape, which has become the basis for my efforts to retrieve not only the Hamilton family history, but the history of all of those family groups that are related by way of blood. And it has even spurred an effort on my part to encourage others, particularly my Christian brothers and sisters, in my church family, Greater Love Missionary Baptist Church, to even have them dig to establish their roots. So we want to take the time this day to welcome you and to acknowledge the contributions and sacrifices on the part of those who have gone before us, and particularly those women of color. And to this day, we will be paying homage to my grandmother, Esther Hannon Hamilton. Now, without further ado, we're going to, since the name of our celebration is the Word and Song, the Word and Song Family Memorial Fest. We know that we have some ministers present within the family groups, and we want to create an opportunity at this point to allow them to share a portion of the Word. So at this time, we'll give an opportunity for anyone who wants to come and make such an acknowledgement or recognition.